on. And
according to the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration, more than 50% of all fatal and injury-related accidents occur at or near intersections. So it is quite clear that intersections can be very dangerous places. But there is a safer alternative. This brings us to the main purpose of my speech, which is to convince you that roundabouts are a better, cheaper, and safer alternative to intersections. For those of you unfamiliar with roundabouts, here's a description, courtesy of the Avondale Estates Intersection Improvement and Roundabout and Road Diet Feasibility Study. This study explains that a roundabout is a form of circular intersection where traffic moves around a central island in a counterclockwise direction. Traffic wishing to enter the circle must yield to traffic already in the circle. Traffic moves in one direction. So why should this matter to you? As the website Valentine Mott states, insurance companies say the average driver will experience at least 3 accidents in his or her lifetime. So unless you have a death wish, you probably want to minimize the risk and potential danger of those oncoming accidents. So why do I care about this? So, for those of you who know me, I used to live in Las Vegas, where bad drivers are a dime a dozen. From my experience, I have seen problems as menial as traffic congestion and as major as full-on collisions. I've also had personal experience driving in intersections and roundabouts. Although my dad was driving when we did the roundabout, but it's pretty much the same. I've also spent countless hours researching the mechanics and implications of both methods. And finally, I've interviewed various individuals about their opinions regarding both topics respectively. And it is my belief that roundabouts are better than intersections and should replace the majority of infrastructure in the United States, making it safer for us and future generations. As previously stated, intersections have been proved to be dangerous. Although we have more roundabouts than ever, we still come very short. This pie chart represents the current amount of roundabouts to intersections today. As you can see, intersections are in the clear majority, with roundabouts being a menial 1%. To put this into perspective, this 1% is over 7,000 roundabouts, so we still have a long ways to go. There is definitely a need. To expound on this need, I will cover 3 points: how intersections are dangerous, how we can minimize that danger, and the benefits of doing so. So let's address the first point. Intersections are involved in 40% of all car accidents throughout the nation's history. This problem boils down to driver inattentiveness. The modern-day driver has many different sources competing for his or her attention. These sources can include texting, calling, GPS, billboards, passengers, drivers, construction, and weather, just to name a few. Another issue can arise at intersections is with a stop sign or stoplight, where there is a tendency to go autopilot, where the driver employs less thought and has a less mental presence because they are busy waiting for a signal to change or waiting for a driver to pass through the intersection. This commonplace hesitancy contributes to the danger to both life and property. To meet this need and to combat this danger, I propose a 3-step plan. The first step would be to disseminate mass information on the mechanics and nature of roundabouts through various forms of communication, such as TV, signage, advertisements, social media, and in addition to the driver's manual. Second would be to implement roundabouts in less dense areas and move into the most populated areas which are still feasible for roundabout use. So for example, we could put a roundabout in, say, Orfino Town Square, then move on to Lewiston, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, etc. And third would be enforcement by traffic police and follow-ups to the informative operation of the plan. The result would be an increase in 3 areas: safety, funding, and efficiency. As shown in this graph, courtesy of the Washington State Department of Transportation, they conducted a study where they replaced an intersection with a roundabout. As you can see, the roundabout significantly reduced the danger of the area. As for cost, the Washington State Department of Transportation also had this to say. Quote, the cost difference between roundabouts and traffic signals are comparable where long-term costs are considered. Roundabouts eliminate hardware, maintenance, and electrical costs associated with traffic signals, which can cost between $5,000 to $10,000 per year, more than I make. And lastly, the Kansas State University conducted a similar study where they viewed the difference between an intersection replaced for a roundabout. They found that roundabouts reduced traffic delay by 20%. They conducted a further study over the course of 3 states, Washington included, where they found that roundabouts contributed to an 89% reduction in traffic delay and a 56% reduction in traffic stops. So this brings us to my final point. Where do we go and how can how can we participate? To do this, we can write to our city planners and state transportation advisory departments. We can encourage our family, friends, and neighbors to contribute to the safety of the community by doing the same. With enough support and backing, the city planners will have a better understanding of the constituency needed for safety, which is that roundabouts are indeed better than intersections and should replace the majority of the infrastructure to make it safer. So to recap, there is a problem with the frequency of traffic accidents, and the major cause of this is driver inattentiveness. The solution would be to implement a plan to educate and reintroduce more roundabouts where research proves practical. The benefits would be fewer accidents, safer and more efficient travel, and more funds, which can be dedicated to other aspects of the infrastructure, such as education and parks and rec. And finally, this is a movement to ensure safety and increase personal responsibility, not only as a driver, but as a citizen, who can contact Congress representatives and city council members, whose information can be seen on this visual. The first representative is Rudy Nappitt, who works in our local road and bridge department. The second individual is for more statewide issues, such as highways. Finally, I'd like to conclude that the information I presented has not only proven that roundabouts are superior to intersections, but that they are the key to making our roadways safer, not only for us, but for future generations.